Here's a quick video just going over the single pump swap I did on this AGT CRT23. The in-tank filter is gone. I made a plate and I welded a bung to it, and then I welded a pipe off the bottom so that it doesn't just dump fluid on top of fluid. So being as that filter's gone, we have this inline Donaldson spin-on system. That line is a fuck show. I should have mounted that filter back and had a longer line, but the line's pretty expensive and the fittings were cheaper. I should have just made a new line, but whatever, and moved the filter. So the suction line is not right, I don't think. I'm gonna have to tie in two of these three-quarter inch into a 1-inch system. This is 3/4 inch, and I don't know if it's enough. I don't think it's enough. I'm gonna go larger just in case. It does work pretty well, but I just to be safe, I don't think that's enough flow. So out of our pump into our flow controller, and I don't know if you need this flow controller. I'll explain that in a minute. So out of the flow controller into our track drive valve, and then we have a power forward sleeve powering our right side joystick. And this is standard loader, like Bobcat style control. Standard skid steer joystick control, right? And then our third function aux is on the other side of this flow controller. The problem is I want to track around fast. I don't want to have my tracks dumbed down. So this is a open center system. So meaning the pump is pumping fluid in a circle at all times. So these valves in center position, they're actually open, and the fluid is going straight through the valve, from the pump port straight through the tank port, through the cooler, back to the tank. That power forward sleeve separates the unused flow from your used flow, and that allows you to use it for a separate function. So anything you're not using here, you're allowed to use here, and if you don't use it, it gets sent straight through this valve, back through your cooler into the tank. The way I'm going to plumb this, I wouldn't even use this if I didn't already have it. But the way I'm going to plumb it is my excess flow port is going to go back to tank. My controlled flow port is going to go straight to here. So really, you could go straight from pump to here and not have this at all. And then you go power forward off of here, power forward to here. So for me, snow plowing, I got a Wolverine grapple bucket, and I was thinking about this, if I'm cleaning up brush or cleaning up a pile of trash using that, or if I'm using my snow blade, I want my tracks to have maximum speed at all times. Like as soon as I go, I want to have full speed. I don't want to have to reach down here, give myself full speed, because anything that I'm giving here is no longer able to be used here because it's getting dumped back to tank when this is in center position. So the downside here is at full track, your loader's dead, right? Or if you had it set up like I'm going to have it set up, if you're full loader, your aux is completely dead, but you're never full loader with your aux on. Like I don't see why you'd ever do that. So that'll be fine. And then you just let off your tracks a little bit. It's not like you're trying to fucking boom up and boom down and do fine movements at full speed anyways. You can boom down at full speed because the flow, it doesn't need flow to boom down. It just uses the weight. And yeah, so currently with the aux being separated by this, I have to give it flow to use it at all. And if I'm just using it for a quick second, I don't want to have to do that and then lose track flow. So like I say, the way I'm going to valve it will be much more simple. The aux will always be live. We'll have full flow as long as I'm not using these two, I'll have full flow here. So if I'm plowing snow, I can be going my maximum speed. I can slow down a little bit, use this hand. If I'm fine tuning my snow blade here or whatever, I can fine tune the turning and I can fine tune the rest of it all while I'm still tracking. all I have to do is let off a little bit. And then as soon as I'm fine-tuned, back to full speed. If I need to fine-tune, back off a little bit and then back to full speed. So where originally your track was here, your boom was here. And if you tried to boom up, you would lose power on this track and it would just go to turn. You could not multifunction this machine. If you could do it, great. I was not able to multifunction this machine, and I'm not able to multifunction this machine, even though it's got the joysticks. You'll be tracking ahead, and you know, you can maybe multifunction a little bit if you're just going very slow, but I find when I go to let off, I'm all over the place. I can start the multifunction, but to end the multifunction and still track at the same speed, it throws me off. I cannot, if I'm tracking alongside a house and I'm trying to grade the ground, this thing, I'm gonna hit the house with it. This thing, originally I would have hit the house with it for sure, like not even a doubt. Now I can just crawl and it's super smooth. Like it's not like it's jumpy. The original valves, you go to take off and it's like, it's just jumps and takes off. And it was horrible. The quality of these valves is so bad. It is not even funny from factory. So even the aux valve, come to find out, is no good on mine as well. So now I will say, as for quality on these units, the valves were garbage. The engine, that's debatable. You know, a lot of people say that's garbage. You know, well, in comparison to, if you compare it that to that is garbage. But it is what it is, right? So the drive motors on this thing are technically a Dan Foss drive motor. Impro Fluid Tech has bought out Dan Foss's drive motors. So if you need parts for a Dan Foss motor for a V1000 Durette, you're going to Impro Fluid Tech. So as far as I'm concerned, if you buy a brand new V1000 or DRT 450 Durette, you're getting Impro Fluid Tech motors. You're not getting Dan Foss. They're going to tell you you're getting Dan Foss because they bought out Dan Foss and they are Dan Foss, but they're Impro Fluid Tech. So these are really good quality drive motors in this unit. The rest of the hydraulics, I don't know. But so far, I've had to modify the track frames the same as I did on the LRT. See, I notched them out so that the cogs don't catch. The LRT is the same way. And just small modifications. I ground the idler wheels like everybody talks about on these things. Ground all the welds off. I used a 7-inch flat disc on a grinder, and it worked out really good for me. I was able to get in there fairly deep. Got rid of all the welding slag. Mine were really bad. Like the ones I seen online weren't half as bad as mine. Took me a full day to get the tracks and all this stuff dialed in. But now I'm not worried about wrecking my tracks. You know, I don't know if the track hitting this spot will cut it or not, but I know these cogs hitting this lock the machine up. Like you'll be driving, completely stops it dead, and you go back and forth, and then you can usually, you know, power through it. But that's flexing that lug ready to tear those lugs out every single time that happens. The hydraulic tank is actually like an L. So there's room. I put some lights in the front. It's got a lot more light. It's pretty sweet. And I got the light bar up top. So lots of light on this unit. You can actually see everything at night. Yeah, so that's our single pump swap. Like I say, I wouldn't buy this flow controller, I don't think, next time if I were to do it again. But it works pretty good. You can multi-function it. I'm unable to really show it on video, but you're just gonna have to take my word for it that it multi-functions, and it's quite smooth. I can include a couple small clips and kind of show, but really the only way to really know is if you're on the unit and trying it.